Hello CLA students and families. I pray that you all are well. It's been a little while since I've been able to record a video to share with you all. And originally this semester I was going to try to focus on the topic of why we study. And as I started to think about what I wanted to say in those videos, it just so happened that today is February 8th, which is the feast of St. Josephine Bakhita. And reflecting on her life today and reading a bit about her, I realized that I think that before getting into the question of why we study, what's the goal of our studies, there's a fundamental truth we need to realize, and I think St. Josephine's life can help us understand that more deeply. So, if you don't know about her life, I'll give a brief overview. She was born in Africa, but when she was only about 7 or 8 years old, she was captured by Arab slave traders who took her, sold her into slavery, and she was bought and sold, I think, around 5 times before she eventually wound up with one man from Italy who took her back to Italy to be with his family there. And it was while she was in Italy that she met religious sisters who catechized her, and she wanted to be baptized, and she was. And she eventually was given her freedom and became a religious sister, and was a religious for about 50 years before she died, and is now a canonized saint in the church. So an incredible witness of holiness and of a woman who persevered through extraordinary difficulties in fidelity to Christ. But what can she teach us as Catholic students? Well, I think that getting back to the question of why we study, I think oftentimes that question can arise from a spirit of not appreciating or being grateful for the opportunities we've been given. So, for example, we have to study St. Thomas, Aristotle, Latin, Greek, whatever the studies are we're doing. And we might look at someone we know that's studying at a secular school and think, oh man, their curriculum is so much easier. They get to do all these things that look so fun. They don't have to sit here and memorize Latin verbs or the catechism, and I wish I could just do that. And why do we have to study these things? Whatever the thoughts are. And I think that if we honestly look at where those thoughts come from, it's a spirit of profound ingratitude to God. Why do I say that? Well, here's where I want to tell a story from St. Josephine's life that I think has a very important lesson for us. After St. Josephine was baptized, she was sometimes seen kissing the baptismal font in the church as she was baptized. As you can imagine, that's not a commonly done thing, so people would ask her, what are you doing? Why are you kissing the baptismal font? And she explained, I do this because it is here that I became a daughter of God. And the point that she can teach us here is that she was so profoundly grateful for the gift of baptism. This was a woman who had been kidnapped from her family, suffered horrible tortures as a slave, and she understood what a mercy and a gift it was to be baptized and to be part of the family of God, the church. And that was not something that she ever stopped giving thanks to God for. So now, with that in mind, let's look at our lives. Many of you, not all of you, but I'd say many of you are probably from very faithful Catholic families. You were baptized simply because of the decision of your parents and the providence of God. And now, not only are you baptized, you probably have received First Communion, maybe confirmation also, but you have a time in your life where your fundamental duty is not to work or to provide for other people, but it's to study the teachings of the Church, to study Catholic philosophy and theology, classical languages, and to be able to learn about God, to learn about the teachings of the Church, and to prepare for a life of faithful service to Him. Now, if you had told St. Josephine about your life, and then compare that to her life when she was your age, however old you are, she would have been incredibly grateful to be able to be in your shoes. And I think that's a humbling thing, but an important thing to reflect on. When we complain about the chance we have to study, we really do so because we don't stop to think enough about what God has given us. We are drawn to fleeting and really sometimes vain things that seem appealing, and we don't realize the beauty of the graces that He's poured into our life. So I encourage you today, think about the life of Saint Josephine Bakhita. Think about her kissing the baptismal font because she was so incredibly grateful to be a daughter of God. And then give praise to God for what He's given you in your life, which includes the chance to study and to come to know Him. May God bless you all.